A lot of fish farmers believe that fish like dirty water, and to some extent, I also believe that. And several times, I've had discussion with fish farmers, and most of them ask, and they ask based on their experience. The last time I had a discussion with one farmer, and he said, "Hey, about this, it's like fish like dirty water." Then I said, "Yes and no." You might be saying, "Oh, about this, you are confusing us. What do you mean by yes? What do you mean by no?" Or you might be thinking that I am a double standard person. I am not. Yes or no. I will explain that to you. Each of these applies because I have personal witness fish thriving or living good life in dirty water. And I've equally seen dirty water kill fish. In fact, thousands of fish in my own farm. And again, I've also seen water that is good or clean water. In fact, let's say fresh water kill fish. And at the same time, we change our water with fresh water and the fish are thriving. All this you would think are confusing. It is not. The bottom line of it is that it is the water chemistry that matters. We explain that in details. However, I'm using scientific terms. I'll break them down. But before then, if you are new to this channel, my name is Abdulaziz Issa. All we do in this channel is to share fish farming tips based on our experience and research. So if you are watching me for the first time and you have not subscribed, please do so. And if you're a returning viewer too, I will be very glad if you hit the subscription button. Now let's move in details. I said a water can look dirty on the face, but it's not dirty for the fish. Water can look clean on the face, but not clean for the fish. It all boils down to the water parameters. That is period. In fact, water can be dirty. It can depict the color of clay and look brownish. It can depict the color of the feces or the leftover feed of the fish and still good for the fish. The fish will be thriving if the water parameters are accurate for the fish. The water can even be less dirty or is dirty, and if the water parameters are not accurate for the fish will die. That is what I was trying to explain to you. Now, what do I mean by the water parameters? In fact, when you look at the chemistry of the water or the components of the water as it is there, and we are talking about fish for that matter, the most important thing is the dissolved oxygen. In fact, the best dissolved oxygen in a pond should be greater than or equal to 5 milligrams per liter. So below this, the fish will suffocate and die. So the water can look dirty, but the oxygen or the dissolved oxygen is either 4 or above milligram per liter. Now, as human, you may see it to be dirty, but if it is within this range, it is good for them. Because the fish depends on the dissolved oxygen to breathe, just like humans. So if the oxygen is lower or not there at all, it can cause suffocating and possibly lead to die. The second is the pH. That's potential of hydrogen. We call it simple as pH. And for the pH mostly controls all this. And that is why sometimes when you even have pH meter, you are able to tell the others. So the pH, it should be 6.5. That's minimum. And highest, it should be 8.5 for catfish. Tilapia, they can be able to keep up to 9.0. So if it is above that, it is also dangerous. So the pH is also very important within that range. If it is above or below, the fish can suffocate and die. Another important thing is temperature. In fact, when the temperature is high, it affects the other parameters, the dissolved oxygen and the pH. When the temperature is also very low, it affects the other temperatures too. So the temperature affects the other parameters. Should be between 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. Below 25 is dangerous, and above 35 is dangerous. So it should be 30. If it is maximum, it should be above 35. So these are the water parameters. So like that's what I was saying. The water can look good. If the parameters are not okay, it is dangerous. The water can look dirty. If the parameters are okay, the fish are thriving. That's why I said the answer, whether fish like dirty water or not, the answer is yes and the answer is no, depending on these factors. So that is why it is good to know the water parameters. I also mentioned that water can be very good and clear for human or for your sight, but dangerous. But I've witnessed a farmer, one of my clients, but she changed water. The fish was doing well in the water. Then she changed the water, and I bet you within 2 hours' time, the fish started dying. Then she called. I asked what happened. She said, "Oh, she changed the water and the fish started dying." I said, "Oh, before they changed the water, what was the behavior?" Then I said, "What water did you use?" She said she used the Metropolitan Assembly water, and obviously the chlorine was higher. The Metropolitan Assembly water, which we obviously or we popularly call tap water, they use chlorine to treat that water, and the chlorine is good for human consumption, but it is very dangerous for fish. In fact, chlorine should always be zero when you measure. So the chlorine content is dangerous for the fish. So you see that the water can be good, but dangerous for the fish, or the fish are not thriving in there. There are ways how to solve this. Either keeping dirty water and the fish are okay, or you treat the chlorinated water before you introduce that. And how do you learn that? That's why we have our complete fish farming course, where you can enroll in it. You learn everything about fish farming, almost everything. But knowledge is big or it's vast. But we make sure that this course alone can help you thrive in your production. And for we have a dedicated model which has about 4 videos talking about the water parameters and how to manage the waters, then to ensure that. You can check the link in the description to enroll in that course. And the beauty of this is that if you enroll in the course, we don't just leave you. We are also there to provide you with guidance in your journey. This is also water treatment. If you also want to treat the water and use that same water, why not consider checking out our DIY filtration and irrigation system masterclass, where we have taken you through practical how to build your own filtration and irrigation system and how to install it in your farm, and then you keep producing your fish with the same water. So you recycle that water. How beautiful is this? Check it out. Now, in conclusion, water can be dirty for the eye but good for the fish. Water can be dirty for the eye but dangerous for the fish. Water can be clean for the eye but dangerous for the fish. Water can be clean for the eye, also clean or good for the fish. It all boils down to the water parameters. It all boils down to the chemistry of the water. And if you want to be successful in your fish farming journey, these are the things that you should know, because water management is what causes the most deadly in fish farming. So to check out our course or subscribe, because we give you solution to these problems. We have a lot of videos on that and we are still giving. So consider subscription if you haven't. After you subscribe, then you can always see our videos and watch it out and educate yourself. Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Abdulaziz Issa. This is Faako Aquaponics, and all we do is to share fish farming tips based on our experience